my colleague Fatih, who will be walking you through verbal and non-verbal communication. Over to you, Fatih.
Thank you, Suba. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Wait, I try to share my screen. Okay, share. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So if by any chance that you saw that my presentation just freeze for several minutes, that is not tally with what I said, just just give me a notification, then I will try to move it. Okay, good evening everyone. Thank you to Miss Eileen for giving us the opportunity for collaboration with UiTM for this webinar. So my name is Syed Ahmad Fatih. You can call me Syed, Ahmad, or Fatih. So that three name is all my name. So any of you can choose. You can choose from that three. The easiest that you can pronounce. So I am a senior data researcher for Global Intelligence and Analytics (GIA) within S&P Global. So today I'm going to talk with you on the subject of verbal and non-verbal communication at the workplace. But before we start, I would like to lay out my agenda for today. Okay, so first, we will have a short quiz. So this quiz is structured so that I can have a sense on what are your thoughts on the subject, and then I will introduce the topics and follow it up with my personal stories, personal experience. The reason why I include a personal experience is because I think communication is about people interacting with each other. So a good and effective communications must take into considerations people understandings, people feelings, their moods and emotions. So you can't separate all this with communication. It what's make human human. So by including personal stories, I hope that you will form some personal connection with me. A sense at the back of your mind will emerge. Oh, I know a little bit about this guy. So with that sense, you are more likely to uh, absorb or agree with my message or idea, and easier for you to understand them. So I think without the humanization of communications, the conversation will be very dry. So we want to avoid that. So finally, I will jump into the topic, and then after that, I will conclude my my talk. So let's start with the short quiz. I hope my Zoom master can help me to give out the quiz. Okay. So you have to go to the menti.com and then enter the code 1704197. You can use your smartphone. If your phone is not very smart, you can use laptop. But I think everyone is using smartphone today, right? Nokia is beyond my generation already. Okay, are you at ease communicating with someone you don't know? Okay, we have one answer, yes, no. Okay. Oh, a steep competition there. Okay, 8 no now. 10. I think we have overall we have how many participants? 50, right?
Sorry, I'm speaking on behalf of the students. The internet on
Okay.
campus can be quite slow.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Never mind. Let just give a minute of two to see whether if you all manage to answer the question. If not, then we will conclude at this number. Can I scan again? I think you don't need to scan. Oh, I think you can. Okay, you can use that menti.com and just enter the code 1704197 menti.com. Okay, I think um, maybe there's a connection issue. So I take that many of you are not very comfortable lah, because I saw the graph. No is higher, and then okay, and then what do you find to be the most difficult in introducing yourself at your new place? So this one is multiple questions, but the question is very small.
In the phone, it looks fine.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing it.
Okay. So and my screen is very small. Expressing. Oh, I can. So from the result, I can see that the thing that most students find most difficult is breaking the ice, initiating conversations. I think this one is good because I will touch some of this in my presentation. Expressing confidence without appearing arrogant, striking balance between being friendly and professional, adapting to different communication styles. Okay. Okay, I think that's about it for the short quiz. Thank you for participating and giving feedbacks. So I think we can go back to the slides. I need to share back. Uh, where's my slide? Oh, here is my slide. Share. Okay. Okay. So effective communications is essential for success in the workplace. So when you enter the workforce, when you start working, the first thing that you need to know is what is required from you. So you need to able to understand what are the tasks given to you in the work situation. So this is actually also a communication issues. So communication is not only you talk to another person, it's also about understanding what people are asking, what people are talking to you. And then you also need to collaborate with your co-workers. You need to handle customer queries and complain. And at some point, you need to present your ideas, your works, and then you need to present your contributions, make sure that you are visible in the workplace. So maybe some of the customer related roles required you to go to the customers, have some marketing sessions, do a product overview. So all of this required an effective communications. So in this presentation, we will explore the different aspect of verbal and non-verbal communication and their importance in the workplace. So verbal and non-verbal communications are two fundamental ways in which we interact and convey message to one another. So verbal communication can include spoken and written words. So we have another session on writing emails. So this also is a part of verbal communications, while non-verbal communication is about the body language, the gestures, facial expressions. So all of this needs to be taken into account when we communicate with with one another in the workplace. So I will start with my personal stories and experience. So I graduated from Russia in 2013. I was given a scholarship to study marine engineering in 2013. Right now, 2023. So it's about 10 years ago. So back then, I'm 10 years younger. So when I graduated, I started my job search. But at that time, I never had any guidance. So I don't have any webinar like you have today. So what 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 we do back then is posting our resume in job street and click apply. So back then, even in Russia, right? We don't even have any convocation ceremony. So at the end of the studies, they will ask us to come to the office, take your scroll, go to the notarial office, translate your certificate, and then go back. So what I did was uh, I need to learn by myself lah. So uh, uh, but after applying for several jobs, I did manage to land some interviews. But I was so scared back then because I don't have any experience. That was my first time. I don't have any guidance. So what I can do is self-help. So I read books. I do try and error. So among the first books that I read on communication is this book that you can see on the screen by Lee Loans. So I'm not sure whether this book will be helpful in the current environment, current situation, because the industry changing, the communication in the office, in the environment we are today is much more fast paced. Everything is changing. So I'm sure there are lots of a newer version or newer updated books on the market that you can find that give you a more realistic and more suitable with this current environment. But this one helped me back then, where during my time. So in this book, there are many tricks on how to succeed in communication. So among that, the tricks that I still remember today is that when you are going to meet someone or attend an interview, make sure that you watch and also read the latest news that are currently happening. So this actually come very handy lah in communication. So because in communication you need something, you need a raw material to talk about. So this is why sometimes when you meet other people that didn't know you, they will ask you, "Oh, where do you live?" Or "Have you been to these places?" Or "You went to the kenduri?" Some pakcik will ask you, "Hang ni daripada mana?" Jadi that kind of question is because they want to have some common topics. Places is something that really easy people to communicate with each other. Something that common to people. You must come from somewhere. So if you ran out of topics, so the conversation can easily turn to be awkward. There will be a long pause or long silence in the communication. So current news is actually your ammunition. So in the places where I'm working right now, I have many colleagues that are not in Malaysia. So they are working from UK, for example. So these tricks really help me. So because I have many of UK colleagues, and I do regularly discuss with them UK's politics with my colleagues about Brexit, Boris Johnson, Theresa May, Corbyn, royal family. Even though I'm not from the UK and I never been there before. So this is one of the things that I learned, so that if you want to go to the interview or meet someone, you have to have a sense of the current news that will help you in your discussion and also in your conversation. So the second things that I learned is that whenever you go for interview or you meet someone, you want to start a conversation, make sure you wear something that is different, that people can spot you. So people can spot, oh, this guy or this girl is different from the crowd. So among the challenges in communication, and also as the quiz revealed to us just now, is how to start the conversation. So I remember a story, right? There is a man who moved to other state. he don't have any friends there, but he need to work on the other state, so he moved there, and every day he commute to office by bus. Every day he saw this another guy. It's like um, same age with him, but he don't know how to approach him. Every day he want to talk, but he don't have the courage to, he don't know how to start the conversation. So one day, when the bus is very packed, he intentionally step on that guy feet lah. So that is how he started the conversation. So actually by wearing something different, like you don't need to step on other people's feet lah. So that different can help as a conversation starter. And also I remember during my interview with my current company, this company, the hiring manager asked me about how do you make a decision. He want to test me on what, how do my thinking, how this guy make a decision. So I said that I have a long thought on that, and then I remember that I just finished the book by Stephen Hawking, A Brief History of Time. So I said that um, I think the best way to make a decision is relying on data. You have some objective data, and then you use that data to make a decision. So um, I give an example of Stephen Hawking in his book. He spill out so many equation and also chart everything that make his argument more persuasive. So uh, we ended up, me and the hiring manager, talking about that book for the whole interview. But the most importantly, I think I was hired. So my advice to you, for young graduate, is to read widely lah. So you have to read widely, even though sometimes you didn't understand fully what you are reading, because you never know that that books or what you are reading will help you in the future. Uh, oh, I still have many minutes, right? Okay. Next is the topic that we are going to cover today. So I will start with the importance of communication at workplace. So good communication is essential, like I said, for creating positive and productive workplace culture. It helps to build trust, improve relationships, and also enhance job satisfaction. As I said before, that communication is something personal. You need to have some relationship with the people you are communicating. So this is important, I think, to build a trust, to have some humanization in the communication. So when you have that, effective communication also promotes better decision making, problem solving, and innovation. If you cannot communicate with your team, if you cannot communicate with your supervisor or manager, you cannot solve anything lah. Basically, you will quarrel with each other, and you didn't understand each other, and eventually nothing can be done lah. So effective communication is essential for teamwork, for collaboration, sharing ideas, because in the current job market, right, everything is interconnected. So you need to communicate not just within your team, but with other team in the company, even sometimes in other team with external of the company. So to do that, you have to have a sense on how to communicate with certain people, because certain people need a certain type of communication. For example, if you talk with your colleague that you are daily you daily see them, it's different when you talk with the outside or external customer. So in communications, you have to be clear, you have to be courteous, because this is very important, especially for the customer facing. For example, I think many of you are in the hotel industry, culinary industry, that is customer facing, right? So when you are customer facing, you need um, to have empathy in your communication. You have to actively listen to the customer, to your guests, and also you have to make sure that your communication style appropriate with the person that you are talking into. So maybe if older people, you need to address differently. If it's a kids, then you have to make sure that your message can come across. So if you want to be a successful leadership, also communication is key. You need to lay your vision and goal, inspire and motivate your team. You must effectively communicate. You can accept feedback. So if the leader cannot accept feedback from their team, so usually their team will have some problem. They cannot solve the things because their manager cannot help them. So in this sense, you will not be an effective leader. So you have to delegate the task. So these all are important aspect in the communications. Okay, let's go to the next slides. Okay, I think I covered this one. So there are many actually types of verbal communication. So ranging from casual conversation, sometimes you meet your colleague in the pantry, uh, to formal presentation and speeches. So these are both are communication, but you need to approach it differently. So some common types of verbal communication include face-to-face conversation, phone calls, webinar like we are having today, presentation, video conferencing, written communication like emails and memos. All these are type of communication that have their distinct needs. So speaking to others, whether in one-on-one conversation or in meeting, sometimes maybe we can feel a little bit daunting. For example, especially when we are new, right, in the company, or we are a fresh graduate. So it's very important for us to practice listening, speaking clearly and confidently, and organizing our thought before we engage in the discussion. So developing a good presentation skills and participate in group activities or public speaking workshop can also be helpful to build your confidence. For example, you join this kind of workshop also is one of the activities that can help boost your enhance your communication. So I want to share okay, I want to ask, any of you ever saw or watch this TED Talk by Angela Duckworth uh, in YouTube? Anybody? Raise your hand. No, even the people from SNP also did not watch this one. Suba must have. No, Suba.
Unfortunately, no. Waiting to
So
hear you talk about it.
okay, so this is my favorite TED Talk. Maybe you can uh, search afterwards in YouTube free for free. You can hear for free. It's the speech title is Grit, the Power of Passion and Perseverance by Angela Lee Duckworth. So actually this speech was based on her research on what makes people succeed in life. So um, she has an interest on studying what make people successful in life across different fields. So she studied people in music, in sport, in corporate setting, in politics setting. So across all this field, what she found is that the most important things to have is not talent or IQ, but you need to have grit. Grit is your perseverance over long period of time. So you have one goal, and you perseverance with that goal for not just days but weeks, months, years. So that is what make people successful in her research lah. So this research actually have been published. She published it into a books, and it's already translated into Malay. So people in UiTM, if you are more into Malay books, you can try to find the book by PTS. I think PTS, yeah, they published it in 2021. So if you watch later, if you watch the TED Talk, you can see that the talk is very smooth. So the very smooth, very well organized. But according Angela, that this is not her first speech, and she struggled actually to to deliver that speech. She talked to the mirror for several weeks. She do a lot of practice. So just to produce a talk for 6 minutes. So you see, in communications, actually, you need a lot of practice. So there are lots of avenue for you to do this. You can participate in speech contests whenever the opportunity comes, or whenever your class or your faculty organize something, you can volunteer to be a host. I think right now you can even start your own podcast for free in the internet, or you join a workshop. There are many other avenue that, even if that avenue does not exist, you can create it. You can make it exist for you. So actually, practice is key lah for communications. How many minutes I have, Subha?
Another 15 minutes.
15. So, okay, that's plenty. Okay. Next is the non-verbal communication. So in communication, it's not just about the spoken words, what you say to other people. Communication also includes your body language, your face expression, how you use your hands to make a gesture, the tone of your voice. These are the common types of non-verbal communications. So facial impression. So the facial impressions is very important. So for example, if you are telling a joke, for example, so you need to grin or smile. But if you tell a sad stories and then you smile, then people will cannot get what you are trying to say to them. So your story might not be so effective. You also need to make an eye contact. For example, I'm speaking to you right now. I need to remind myself continuously to look at the camera, so that it seems like I'm looking at you lah, even though I'm looking at the screen. So the body language, like gestures, movement. If you are not moving, people might see that, oh, this guy are getting nervous. He's not very confident. So you have to move around. Your hand cannot be statics, and also the tone of voice. So this tone of voice, previously I'm not very uh, taking into account this in the my conversation style, but um I do sometimes listen to the speech made by Barack Obama, the former president of United States, before Donald Trump. So if you listen to his speech, whatever his speech is, he liked to use a long pause. Whenever he said, "We need to grow our economy," and then he paused to make sure that people standard of living, and then he paused. So that pause, sometimes people find it annoying, but actually it helped his audience to have some space to analyze and contemplate on what he said before. So pausing, actually, if used properly, can give an incredible poise, control, and a sense of authority as the presenter. So you can also look into that to enhance your communication skills. And also personal space. So you must make sure lah, the type of communication that you are doing. For example, you find someone that are in the sad mood. Recently, his family maybe pass away. So maybe you can go a little bit closer, put your hand to him and show some intimacy. So personal space, different, your space between you and the audience also play a part lah. Whether the audience saw you as an aggressive communicator or intimate communicator, based on context and also situation lah. Okay. So non-verbal cues such as body language, facial expressions actually play a significant role lah in communication. So maybe if we are new to the company, maybe we feel a little bit shy and we also don't know how to use it very well. But over time, I think it will get better lah. But to speed up the process, you have to volunteer lah. You have to volunteer. You have to um, experience the uncomfortableness to make sure that eventually it will fade away. I still remember the first time when I talked to anyone, more than 4 people. Usually, my face will redden and I will forget everything that I already trained for about 1 month to talk about. That is the initial my initial process lah, of learning how to communicate with other. But over time, when you talk to much more people and it get frequent, it is get better lah over times. So like I said before, communication is not just about talking, it's also about listening. So we need to bear in mind that our ability to actively listen and comprehend information is crucial in communication, uh, especially in the workplace. Sometimes people they didn't understand the message that are people trying to uh, send to them. For example, you receive an email, you just read the first line and then you reply, or you didn't read properly the chain of the email. You don't get the narration. You don't get this type of things are important. Even professionally, there are many people like that they don't even read email properly and then they just reply what they are taught and they are missing the mark. So listening and understanding is actually a crucial part in the communication. So you also need to practice on this aspect on how to listen, how to understand. If you didn't understand what you are going to do, are you going to stay silent or you want to ask a clarifying question? So this also is a part of communication, because you must understand that when people talk to you, they didn't expect that, especially if you are new, they didn't expect you to know everything. They expect you to ask question. So actually asking question is a normal practice, so don't be shy about it. So uh, okay, so next is okay, I have to move my slide. So some barrier to effective communication. So there are many barriers that can hinder effective communications, including language differences, cultural differences, physical barrier, emotions, noise, assumption, and preconception. So you have to be aware that not everyone is the same as you. Not everyone is from the same background. So some words may be okay for you and for your previous situation, but can be a bad words for other situation and other people. So all this needed to be taken into account when you speak to somebody. So that is why I think you need also to understand your audience. So you are required not only to give a message, you also need to understand the audience that are receiving that message so that the message can came across lah. So you also have to understand that different individuals have different communication styles. So you also have to adapt your communication based on situation. For example, when you are talking to new people, you might need to use less jargon words that new people usually they didn't understand. Or if you need to use a jargon word, you have to explain that word to them. So you have to understand the people you are talking to lah. So if you see their facial reaction blur or something, you ask for feedback so that they can ask question more freely, more naturally. Okay. So adapting. So improving verbal and non-verbal communication. So I think this is just a continuation of what I've said before. So whatever it is, you need to practice lah. So enroll yourself in training workshop. Uh, so if you have a coaching session, maybe you have a senior in some of the companies, you can ask them to be your coach, where you can ask question of you have any doubt, you can ask them to clarify for you. So I think this is very important. Early in my career, I have many coach, sometimes officially, sometimes non-officially, that helps me lah along the way. Because in our company also sometimes we do have some coaching session, something like that lah. So I regularly previously during my initial years with the company, I joined this kind of stuff lah. So sometimes people think, oh, this is just a typical stuff, just to uh, want to make the company look nicer, but I think actually it have some benefit there lah. If you look into it closely and you participate and you engage, it actually helpful lah. So to conclude, I just uh, w- will conclude my presentation today. So effective communication is essential for success in the workplace. So by improving your verbal and non-verbal communication skills, you can build a relationship with your coworkers, with your supervisors, with your managers. So when you have that relationship, it will help you enhance your productivities, achieve your goals in your career. So some key takeaway also from this session, I think you need to be aware of the non-verbal cues that sometimes we are not aware that we are giving people to. We need to be clear, concise in our communication, and also actively listening to others, to feedbacks, and also their understanding to make sure that they get the right message that we want to give to them. So paying attention to both verbal and non-verbal cues help us um, to show that we engage in the conversation. So we don't want that conversation to be very dry, like what I'm saying today. Just one way, I don't have any question back to me. So we need to improve that lah. To make the conversation better, we need to have an engagement lah. So you also need to take into account your body language, tone of voice. You cannot talk too fast or too slow. You have some pause in your presentation when you're speaking. So, and also don't forget to attend any training to improve your communication activities. So I think that's all from me. Thank you for your active listening skills, because I know that you are very actively listen to my presentation today. So I thank you that. So I give back the floor to who? Suba or Sam? Suba.
Yeah, I'll take the floor for a bit before
Okay.
I pass it on to Sam.
Sorry for interrupting.
Yes, Shazlina.
There's actually a question in the chat if you could read it.
Yes, I was just going to go to the question. Can I turn to the Zoom master to read the questions out so Fatih can take the questions?
Mia, I thought that you will take the question.
We have a lot of time to address this question right now.
Okay, can.
Where is the question?
Okay, the question was, just now you mentioned that you have non-Malaysian colleagues.
Okay.
What are some cultural differences that you face?
Cultural differences, Okay, let me tell you a story. One of my colleague in UK, his name is John. He came here in Penang a few years back. So uh, he's a very religious guy. I know that he religious, but I didn't know that he drinks lah. He drinks. So at one conversation, I asked him, "Oh, you seems to be very religious, but you drink." But and then he said that, "Oh, actually, my religion didn't forbid me from drinking." So sometimes we have a preconception, right? On religion, on culture, but eventually it turns out if you communicate or if you talk to that person, that is not the case. so you have to be conscious of that lah. So because even same religion or same you are same ethnicity, people also have their own preferences and what they like and what they are dislike. So it's good that you ask that person personally lah, on whatever it is that you wanted to do with them, to make sure that everything is clear lah. So uh, is that answer the question? I think maybe Suba can mention.
No, I think that's a perfect answer, perfect
Okay.
example. Are there any other questions, Salida?
No, so thank you very much.
You concluded too soon.